There we go. All right. Welcome everyone to our BWIT Lunch and Learn. We're so glad that you can join us today. We've got a very special guest with us, Stephanie Weber. She's coming to us from Colorado virtually, where she got snow yesterday. So we were just chit-chatting about how different our weathers have been. But Stephanie and I have known each other for about a year. We've been working together on this regional digital skills initiative, and she is with NCWIT, and she'll tell you more about her background and how she started working with this organization. But she has been, she's become such a friend, and I love, hearing about her life there in Colorado with her chickens and her goats, and just the homestead life. And but she's doing some amazing work, and she really is the force behind a lot of the momentum that we are seeing here in Alabama with our digital skills initiative. So thank you so much, Stephanie, for being with us. We love having you with us, and we wish that you can come down in person, but soon enough you'll come visit us, run through soup.
Yes.
Yes.
Oh, well, Christina, thank you so much for that warm welcome. It has been equally a pleasure for me to work with you and for TechBirmingham and with Rebecca on these initiatives over the past year. And I can't believe it's been over a year since we got started. So I'm really happy to be with you all here today. I'm going to give you a little short presentation on our work, but really I would just like to hear from you, any questions or comments or anything like that about the initiative and about the technical skills that we are actively lifting up through different partners in Alabama and throughout the nation. So I think I'll, if it's okay, share my screen real quick. And hopefully this technology will work. As Christina said, I work for NCWIT. NCWIT is the National Center for Women in Information Technology. We are based at the University of Colorado Boulder and are a nonprofit. And I think, no, it's not advancing again. Oh, there we go. It's just slow. One of the, so a little bit about NCWIT. Like I said, we're a nonprofit based at the University of Colorado Boulder. We've been an organization since, or a nonprofit since 2004. And recently we started working on the Alabama Digital Skills Initiative, and I had the honor of taking on this project to help direct it and really get it off the ground. I have a background in education. Actually, I was a teacher for about 12 years at several different schools, both in person and online. I actually taught at online schools before online school was a thing over the last couple of months, starting once I had kids back in 2005. Started teaching online, and my background is in biology, both my undergraduate and master's in biology. But I came to NCWIT as a curriculum developer and worked my way up from there to lead different projects and initiatives for the organization. So I've been with NCWIT for 8 years, 8 proud years, and really just love working for this particular organization. There's a delay on the advancing of the slides. Try again. Oh my. I can't get it to go.
Let me try pulling up the slides while you're talking.
Okay. And maybe Christina could advance them because I'm not sure why I can't do that. NCWIT is a nonprofit, and our main mission is to broaden the meaningful participation for women and girls in technology and computing. And we do this through lots of different programs. I'm just going to stop my screen because I keep trying to advance my slide. Oh, is that you, Christina? Oh no, you haven't done it yet. I can now see my slides. Oops. Sorry for the technology. We should have practiced this beforehand. So we work to equip and convene and unite our change leader organizations, of which we have over 1,300 now in NCWIT, to really make sure that girls and women have both the influential and meaningful participation in computing and technology. And this initiative, the Alabama Digital Skills Initiative, which we launched, I believe, the first day of May in 2019, is really looking at bringing together a lot of our programs, some of them which had already existed in Alabama, together in a more concentrated effort, and really hope to help you build the pipeline and contribute to already existing efforts in Birmingham, Alabama, and throughout your state for girls and women's meaningful participation in computing. There are many different parts of the initiative. We work really throughout the entire pipeline, elementary school, high school, middle school, college, and even into the workforce. So I think you can go yep, oh, thank you, Christina. Is everybody able to see all these slides? I think you can go to the next one. Yes, okay, thank you, Jennifer. So this is just a graphic that shows all the different elements of the Regional Digital Skills Initiative. We are going to talk mostly about the technical skills training today for women in workforce. But I did want to show you some of the things we've already accomplished in our first year I really couldn't have done it without TechBirmingham and Christina to achieve some of these things along the pipeline. But if you want to go to the next slide, Christina, this is something that we're really proud of in the state of Alabama. And we did a kickoff meeting, or a second kickoff meeting in September, which many of you may have attended, a Tech Tuesday talk. And since then, we've made even further gains. So we were hoping in 2019 to have several different events in some of our different programs throughout NCWIT. Aspire IT coding camps are camps for middle school and elementary school students. We ended up having 3 events, one in Birmingham, one in Auburn, and one in Tuscaloosa, and we had 41 students that attended those. We had, yes, I'd be happy to share the slides. The Aspirations in Computing program, which is our high school and collegiate longitudinal support group, we have over 20,000 women nationwide now in this group. Last year we had a 127% increase in Alabama for applicants to join the community, and we had an additional 70 high school and collegiate women actually accepted into the community in 2019, so that was just fantastic. We continue to do a lot of outreach in this community, and we have both a North and South affiliate. The North affiliate is based in Tuscaloosa with Dr. Jeff Gray, and the South affiliate is at South Alabama, and they also incorporate the Florida Panhandle. But we had 70 women last year, which was great. Our goal was 60. Counselors for Computing, another program that NCWIT helps to run that really brings counselors into the conversation about computing and technology with both families and students. We were hoping to have 1 training event. We had 3, 2 in Birmingham, 1 in Montgomery. We had the pleasure of training 222 counselors and had an indirect contact of 92,574 students, and that's based on the counselor-student ratio in your state. We also really excitingly had 2 new counselors contracted for Alabama who are school counselors in districts throughout your state. who are going to continue to do the work with educating counselors about what computer science is and what technology is, and really help lead those conversations. You can see what our plans are for 2020. I'll talk about all that in just a minute, as we had to shift some of that. But I also want to say that we're working with really strengthening the regional stakeholder network. And what that means is not only leveraging NCWIT's partners and alliances with post-secondary institutions and businesses, but also bring in nonprofits and other interested organizations to be part of the conversation, and really to make a commitment to diversifying computing and technology, not just for women and girls, but other underrepresented groups who just haven't been traditionally represented in computing and technology. We were able to work with 9 additional new post-secondary institutions in Alabama, increasing by 128% last year of our current membership in your state. And we've added a couple new Affinity Alliance members. Those are members who may not be working on internal culture change with respect to technology computing, but share our mission of broadening participation for women and girls in this field. So that is what we were able to accomplish last year, and super proud of that. And we hope to and aspire to make even more significant gains in Alabama in 2020. We have had to shift to many online experiences, as many of us have had to do for work and other networking events. But we're working really hard to make a lot of those things happen. Many of our Aspire IT coding camps will be going virtual, or at least being postponed until later in 2020. I think we're able to fund, I think, close to 7 or 8 Aspire IT camps in Alabama for 2020 so far. And we're working with each of those organizations to move them virtually if possible. We are still working on outreach for Aspirations in Computing. For counselors in computing, we're going to work on having webinars for many of our counselors statewide. And actually the event in Tuscaloosa is taking place at the end of June. And if you know any school counselors who would like to attend, we're currently recruiting. I think we have 10 more spots available that we can have counselors from Birmingham or other parts of the state attend the multi-day training for counselors that will be based in Tuscaloosa, but will be online. Okay, enough about this. And if there are questions, Christina, that I should answer along the way, please let me know, because I'm not really monitoring the chat or the Q&A. She's trying to advance to the next slide as well. Oh, technology. So one of the main things that I wanted to talk about was the technical skills training. And this is something that we've worked really hard on over the last year to provide several different opportunities for those that are in early, middle, and even late workforce who want to further develop their digital skills. We looked for trainings that were already in existence, both local providers as well as those that provide nationally, that could do in-person experiences, online and hybrid experiences, those that are day, night, evening, so we can really remove any barriers for participation. The courses are non-credit, usually industry focused, continuing ed type courses. It was important for us not to have courses that were part of a degree program, because we wanted women who were in different stages of their careers to be able to take these courses without being fully enrolled in a post-secondary institution. There are 2 main target groups for these technical skills training. Those that are in Aspirations in Computing, and I had mentioned that's our longitudinal support program, 20,000 strong right now across the US. Many of these women have already finished college and are in early or mid workforce, so they can apply for this technical skills training. But we also started an Alabama digital skills pilot, which is really exciting. And I really have to credit Christina for initiating this idea at our very first kickoff meeting in May of 2019, saying that there really is a need for women who are in workforce, or maybe not even in a job, but are interested in going back to a job after taking time off for family or other reasons, to really upskill themselves and contribute to the technical pipeline in your area. So Christine, if you can go to the next slide, that'd be fantastic. Our digital skills pilot is identified this way. It's really for women or those that identify as women, genderqueer or non-binary, who live in Alabama, who either want to re-enter the workforce with a career in computing or technology, considering changing careers to a new career in computing or technology, or already are in a computing role, but want to advance with additional skills. And so this is a really broad net, and we did that on purpose because we really want to make sure that we're providing opportunities for those that really seek them and really want to have a job with a computing or technology focus. I'm going to go to the next slide. We have currently 4 signed partners in Alabama. We have Innovate Birmingham, which many of you are probably familiar with. We're working with the University of Alabama, Birmingham to provide some courses, as well as Jeff State Community College. So those are all local providers. And we're also working with a national provider who is Flatiron School, who provides some additional opportunities. So you can see we have 12 current course offerings that are available for scholarship. We are providing full 100% funding for women that fall within those 2 target groups. If they are interested in careers in technology or advancing their career and they feel that one of these courses will help them with that, they fill out an application, we do an interview, and then if they are awarded the scholarship, they can enroll in the class, in some cases immediately. In other cases, there's a few other steps of interviewing with providers such as Flatiron School has a few extra steps they need to go through. Oh, good, someone actually is a Flatiron grad. That's great to hear. I wanted to let you know that the reason that we came up with these course offerings is that we did some initial survey with Central 6, and I think there were some representatives from that here on the call. As well as some other industry professionals who helped us to identify skills gaps in your areas and different kinds of courses that may help fill skills that there are jobs for in your area. This is something we're constantly wanting to look at and revise. And so we're always looking for feedback from industry to say, hey, you know, we really need this particular skill set, or we really don't need that. And really help us fine tune what offerings we provide scholarships for moving forward. So no, this is a little bit of an organic process. And again, a pilot, we're trying to figure this out. But we are really interested in hearing back from industry on if these courses, these certifications, these trainings are valuable for positions that you're trying to fill in your area. We've had a great deal of interest in these scholarships, as you might imagine, and it's seen a huge uptick in the last month, given our current situations in the world. We've had over 100 women express interest in these opportunities and wanted to know more information that we update them on periodically. We have successfully trained 25 women who have completed courses so far from this list. We have 10 starting with UAB's project management on June 19th. And we have over a dozen other applications that are currently in the queue waiting to be reviewed to see if they're eligible to be in one of these 12 courses. Our goal by the end of 2020 is to have over 100 women trained if we can. And so we're hoping you through your networks might help spread the word on these opportunities and get more women to apply and consider taking these courses. Some of them are part-time, some of them are full-time, a couple of them are self-paced. So, you know, hopefully those that feel like this would be beneficial for them will apply. So that's it. I would love to answer questions, have, you know, have you speak up about anything that I can make clarifications for. There was one question from Shirley, are reaching out to organizations outside of school? Shirley, we have reached out to several of our organizations. Are you referring to signing up for some of the K-12 programs? We have been in touch with Alabama STEM. I'm not sure about Stream Innovations. I should mention that Christina, as part of her role and help, and maybe you want to explain that a little too, Christina, is helping us identify some of these organizations to reach out to and to send information to where appropriate. Did you want to talk about that at all, Christina? Oh, you're muted, I think.
Lost my microphone. Yes, so I, along with being the director of programs for Tech Birmingham, I also work with NCWIT as an affinity alliance, I guess, contractor, consultant, that's what it is. I couldn't remember what the official title capacity was, but I work with NCWIT to help identify contacts and more opportunities that we can push out these opportunities. So yes, we have been in touch with Stream Innovations, and you know what we're trying to do is create this pipeline. So and several of the Stream Innovation students are Aspirations students as well. So all right, Shirley, keep them coming. Keep the questions coming. Let's see. See if we've got any questions in the chat. I forgot that Jennifer Nelson was a Flatiron grad. She is awesome. She works for one of our member companies doing data, Quantalytics. They do data science and analysis.
Which course did you take? If you don't mind me asking.
Online web developer.
Oh, okay.
She is also one of the leaders in the Birmingham area software enthusiast group. So she is a force in our city. We love Jennifer.
We have from Flatiron School, we currently have software engineering, data science, and cybersecurity analytics. I believe all of them are offered either full-time or part-time. They are really big commitments. In other words, you know, someone probably, well, unless they, I guess they were really motivated, wouldn't be working full-time and adding that to their plate. Maybe they could do it part-time. But they're really rich courses, and we've had a tremendous amount of interest in applying for those. They're completely online. Our hope is that our other partners who do in-person experiences, UAB and Innovate Birmingham, will be able to go back at some point to an in-person experience, or at least a hybrid experience, so to give that complement of having both a community that they can meet in person, if that's a preference to them. And then our courses with Jefferson State Community College are online as well, and they will be a little bit more self-paced, but we are giving participants anywhere between 6 to 12 months to complete those particular courses. So again, we're trying to just offer or vet providers that really give a flexibility in completion of some of these different courses if people find them valuable. So Shirley, a question about, are you in contact with Central 6? Yeah, we actually go to the Central 6 meetings, and I've presented at least twice, I think, to Central 6 about the project, the regional initiatives. And so we did our initial survey with many of the Central Six partners on some of the skills gaps that are in your area. And then I believe Christina is connecting us with the Birmingham Black Techies group.
Yes, we've actually invited them to several NCWIT virtual events, and so we have started engaging with that community, and we're going to continue having more discussions to have more involvement there.
Great. Jennifer had a question about demonstrating how to register for different programs. To register for the regional initiatives program, let me just get you the link because I'm having trouble sharing my screen for some reason. On the NCWIT website under regional initiatives, you can actually, I'll put a couple links in the chat. Can everyone see the chat? Even the attendees?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. So our main landing page is regional initiatives, and on that page, you'll actually see that we have a second region now of Detroit, Michigan, that we've launched recently. And this is really slow. Christina, is your computer faster that you can put the Alabama regional landing page?
Yes, let me grab that.
The Alabama Regional Initiatives page lists more specifically what's happening in Alabama, and on that page, not only will you see the list of technical training opportunities and a link for if you're interested to sign up, but also a link to the application. And so if someone was going to apply for technical training and they met the eligibility requirements, there is a link directly on that Alabama Regional Initiatives page for the application for technical training. So that's one way to register for a course. Oh, I'm on.
Okay, here we go. This is the link for the scholarships, or the application. And let me grab that matrix with all of the course offerings.
Some of the different programs, Jennifer, on our website, ncwit.org, you can actually look up the different programs under either why join or how to join. So Aspirations in Computing also is a part, the Aspire IT programs for students is part of Aspirations in Computing. There's information there about counselors for computing, as well as several of our other programs that I didn't talk about today. If you know any young women that are interested in possibly applying for Aspirations in Computing, and in order to put on an Aspire IT camp, they get funding to put on those camps, they would need to be in Aspirations in Computing. They would go to the Aspirations in Computing website, which I'll just give you the general one from the landing page from NCWIT itself. And if you went to the Aspirations site, there's a button about joining. One thing I should clarify is that collegiate women can join just by asking. So if you know someone that's in college, they can just fill out an application. For high school women, they actually need to win a regional or national award. And that takes place, the application for high school women will open up in September and be open through, I think, the beginning of November. And we have entire teams in your state that are actually dedicated to getting the word out about Aspirations, but you all also through your networks would be great as well to let those high school women know, that this opportunity exists. And Christina actually did a pizza party.
I did do a pizza party.
You want to talk a little bit about that?
Yeah, so there was a RC3 down in Hoover. We were trying to get more girls in the RC3 program. It's a technical training academy through Hoover City Schools, and so we were trying to encourage more girls to apply for this Aspirations in Computing. So I brought pizzas and donuts for the girls. And we went through, and as they were filling out their applications, I was there on hand to help them, with navigating how to answer those questions and to really help them answer those. And so it was so much fun. The girls were so sweet, and several of the girls actually were received honorable mentions and awards. Um, so it was, and I happened to be at the award ceremony for something else, and 9 girls from Hoover City Schools were, acknowledged for winning, some of these awards through NCWIT. And we had a huge increase in the number of students who applied for it this year. Was it 128% increase?
It was,
Yes.
and not everybody that applied was accepted, but I know that they accepted, that there was such a huge increase that we had to really shift some funds around to support all of the women that were interested. And that's a really good problem to have. We would really like to be able to do that again. So, hopefully we'll continue to get the word out, whether we can have more pizza parties. That would be fantastic. We're also working on putting together some promotions both for high school and collegiate women so that we can really disseminate that throughout the state. I love seeing the kids run by because usually I'm like, shh. The more women we can get in it, the better, because it's really a fantastic program for high school and collegiate women. There's all different kinds of scholarships, networking opportunities, job fairs, those types of things. In fact, even just this week, we had actually it was last Friday, and we're going to continue with this Friday. We had a webinar with our funder, Cognizant US Foundation. We had a webinar about UX UI and sort of user experience, and we talked with women in their career about how they got there, what their experience was working in a technology role and field. And so we had about 20 women participate in that webinar, in that panel, to talk to career professionals about that role. This Friday, we have one on project management, and I invited all of the women from Alabama who've completed the project management course at UAB to participate if they'd like to come. But, those types of experiences are things that are widely available to those that join Aspirations. So it's just another sort of support group for women in technology. So that, the more we can let women know in Alabama that that's available to them if they're in high school or in college, the better. And then maybe they can join your Birmingham Women in Tech group when they're done.
Yes. Yes. We're trying to get it, our Birmingham Women in Technology group active again. And so with everything going on, it's, we've kind of had to take a short hiatus, but hopefully, we'll get back into it. So Shirley, to address some of your questions about, having the equipment for the lab, those are things that we'll have to look into to be able to help with navigating that. As of yet, it doesn't look like we have had any applicants in that program, but those are things that, with Jeff State, the fees that are associated with that program is included. And so I would imagine that, they would let us know what equipment is needed. But yeah, I'll reach out to you, Shirley, so that we can discuss this, once we do a little bit more research.
I also know that Jeff State is also open to any participants who take those courses to use labs and resources at Jeff State to complete their courses. So again, we'll get a little more information on those specific ones you asked about, Shirley. But the scholarships that we're giving would be for all software and materials that are needed to complete that course. But let's see if we can get a little bit more clarification on that for you.
Okay. Yes. Okay. Um, and some of the courses that we are offering are pretty robust. There are a couple that do have prerequisites for having a certain amount of experience before they can be accepted into the program. And then there's others that are, you don't, it's not required to have any digital skills. You'll learn those, going through this course. And so what we're finding is that we wanted to put together a very robust program that could, capture as many of the needs that are out there that we could possibly think of. And I'm sure that, as we keep iterating this program, we're going to find that we didn't consider, several other factors. And so again, it's a great problem to have, to try to find the solutions for that. But, we're confident that, people are really going to reap many rewards from going through this program. And we're so lucky to have Cognizant who wants to make sure that we have the resources to equip these women. The thing that really excites me about this, having Flatirons and Jeff State having these online programs, is that now our reach has been expanded exponentially. Now we can reach folks in the rural areas of our state. We'd been trying to find providers, in Auburn and Huntsville and Tuscaloosa. And now, we have the ability to reach people in those areas without having a brick and mortar hub for these students to attend. So it's just an exciting time to be a part of this program. And it's been such a privilege to work on this. And I love that, when I pitched to Stephanie, the whole re-entry piece, she embraced it. And, usually when I tell people about my ideas, they're like, oh, that's nice. But she actually went back and talked to the social scientists within NCWIT, and they started doing research on it and, affirming, that this is in fact a real need. And so this is how we've come to how this program has evolved. And I can't wait to see how much further it evolves, as we continue.
Yeah, that's great, Christina. Thank you for adding all of that. And I also want to reiterate that the courses that are there now can change. We can add to them. We can remove some if they don't seem to be effective or there seems to be too many barriers. Initially, that list was comprised because we looked at data from several different reports and several different meetings, and they showed the top jobs that needed to be filled and top certifications that would be beneficial. And so that's what we use to drive and comprise our list, or put our list together. But we're always open to suggestions, and the more data we can get about what courses might help fill skills gaps, the more research we can do. We do put these through a vetting process. We do make sure that they're meeting our diversity and inclusion specifications. We do make sure they have outcomes data to support that they're doing what they're saying they're doing. And we constantly are actually surveying our participants as well as our providers on a lot of these different factors. So it's not just, we don't just throw it up there because we think it might work. There is actually a long process that we're working to actually streamline so we can get things up quicker. But we're always open to, suggestions, and hopefully as we learn more information, as we see what jobs are available in this new age of post-COVID. I mean, we're not even at post-COVID, but, as we emerge potentially, what are some new skill sets that might be beneficial for your region? We're really excited to learn about them and see if we can meet those needs through the grant. Ramble on about that, but.
Yes. Shirley, yes, I wholeheartedly agree that the IT equipment skills are directly transferable to manufacturing. And so, again, that's a great thing that you've brought to our attention, because there is so much manufacturing happening here in Alabama. And
Mhm.
so, we may or may not be able to meet those needs directly, to help fill those positions. Um, but we'll try to see what we can do to help with that.
We do also ask, an individual doesn't have to go into what we might consider a traditional computing or IT. They don't have to go work in an IT company or a computing company. They might use those IT and computing skills at a manufacturer. But if they are in the field of computing and IT, but they're working for a manufacturer, that's totally fine. I mean, we again, put them through this application process, and what we really are trying to do, stewards of our funding and our money that we've been given to do these things, is to make sure we're helping to build the technical workforce. It doesn't have to be, I'm going to work for a specific IT company and that's all they do. Because we realize that IT and computing are in every field. And that's also part of opening the eyes to the participants, is for them to realize the vast array of opportunities is available to them if they have some of these technical computing skills. They might work in manufacturing or real estate or different kinds of business, banking, which is big in Birmingham, those kinds of things. We may not always think of them as technology computing companies, but really there's always a component of that in every field. So we have conversations with our scholarship recipients about that. And if we feel like they are really going to use these skills in a job, then hopefully we can fund them.
Yes. And Shirley, I know, so Shirley Hicks is actually the reason why I am exactly where I am. So Shirley was the charter member of the Birmingham Women Who Code. And so I joined this group 4 years ago because I decided I needed to learn how to code. And I tried doing, I failed miserably doing it at home by myself. And so I joined this group that I found on a meetup on meetup.com. And so that's how I met Shirley. And it was through spending time with these women and learning how to code in Python that I had the confidence to apply for my job at Tech Birmingham. And so thank you, Shirley, for that. And I just wanted to publicly thank her, because she has been this, has planted seeds for so many women who are working in our ecosystem. And I don't think she gets the credit and recognition for that. So thank you so much, Shirley. But because of how I've watched you evolve in your career, that's why some of the coding programs that I do at Tech Birmingham with the kids, we've pivoted to application-based learning. So that's why we started doing our hardware camps, so that kids can be familiar with using Arduinos and putting, together little prototypes and little devices. And so, we recognize that, manufacturing is a big industry here in Alabama. And so we want to make sure that the kids are tinkering and they are, they're familiar with those skills. And so, maybe that's something that eventually will be developed as an IoT course that maybe we can offer, as part of these offerings. The sky's the limit right now on what the possibilities are.
Mhm. I did also want to mention that NCWIT, and Christine alluded to it, but the things that NCWIT is all supported by research and data. And we have on staff many different social scientists who really help us direct our where we're going next and how we proceed. And one of the things that they also help with is our many resources. I'm going to put the link in the chat. And NCWIT resources are all free and downloadable. And we can even send paper resources to you if you're interested in using them for different kinds of events or meetups or things like that. We have a lot of materials for both the K-12 space, the post-secondary space, and the workforce space. Things about, changing corporate culture or culture on campus to really be more welcoming to diverse groups, especially in computing and technology. And so, take a look at any of those resources. I know Christina's familiar with several of them, and we've brought some to the Tech Tuesday talk and even our kickoff meeting that we had back in May of 2019, but also happy to send resources to those that might be interested. A lot of these things we use to help support programs, really talk about why it's important to really diversify the field of computing and technology, why it's really important to have multiple voices at the table when problem solving, not just for computer programming, but if using your example as manufacturing, Christina, if we want to manufacture something that works for diverse audiences, we need diverse people at the table coming up with those designs. And so, that's all at the heart of what we do at our organization. And the resources, if you scan through them, you can filter by, different target audiences or what the things are that you'd like to do. We're constantly updating our resources, and we have a lot of new initiatives that we're kicking off with NCWIT, especially with Black women and girls. We have a new initiative that we're really working towards getting more resources out in that area. So I just wanted to point that out as well, and happy to have more conversations about those resources too, if you're interested.
Yes. So all of these resources, we are going to send out a list of all the links that we're sharing with everybody so that you can have those opportunities to sign up. So when we were registering, when the confirmations were sent out, there was a mix-up with the links that were sent in the confirmation emails. And so several people have showed up as Rebecca Dobrinsky. If you don't mind, those folks who are not the real Rebecca Dobrinsky, if you don't mind sharing your name and your email with us so that we can make sure that we have your email addresses. We want to make sure that you have these resources handy. Even if you don't need them, we want to make sure that we can, you could forward those on to some women that you think might benefit from having these resources. So we're not trying to play, gatekeeper and kick you out if you're not supposed to be here. We want you here. We just want to make sure that we can get you your resources. Thank you. Thank you so much. Yes, every day we're learning that if you don't stay on top of the updates with Zoom, it ends up hurting you. So
Quite the learning curve with online webinars over the last couple months.
yes, yes. And then they are constantly updating, which is great, but sometimes it's baffling, when you come on and you're like, wait, this is not how I left it yesterday. So.
Yeah. So I really, I can stick around as long as, there's more questions or comments. I'm just really appreciative of being here today and being able to let you know about the work that we're doing, and the great partnership we have with TechBirmingham, and Innovate Birmingham, UAB, Jeff State. It's been such an honor to work with your community, and we really do want to get the word out about the opportunity. I want to be able to go back to my funder and say, hey, we ran out of money because there was so much interest in Birmingham that we have funded all of these things and now we need more. So it really just, if the initiative is something you want to learn more about or spread the word about, please let me know how I can help you do that. Offerings at Jeff State. So the offerings we currently have at Jeff State are the CompTIA A+, Network Plus, and Security Plus, CompTIA Cloud Plus, Java Programmer, and then the certifications of CISSP, CISA, and CISM. There's actually a large group of offerings that we could add to that list. The reason we started with those 6 courses, if I did my math right, and it's 6, is that we used some reports from meeting with Alabama Work Central 6, as well as Innovate Birmingham, and some state reports about what were the biggest gaps at this point in time. But if we wanted to add more courses, or if some of them weren't applicable and there really wasn't a need, like if nobody applies to some of these courses over the next 3 to 6 months, we may say, let's remove it and add something different, or let's add something else to the plate to see if we can fill any gaps. So it really could be a very organic, flexible thing. If we hear back from industry and people that are interested in going into technology computing about what they want. Does that answer your question? Let's see, who was that?
That's Katie.
Katie, okay. Did I get
Okay, yes, you answered her question. All right.
And the Jeff State offerings are listed on our technical training table that Christina or Rebecca will send out. There's a link to the syllabus, so you can see what the syllabus is within the course itself, and then also on the application and interest form. So hopefully that'll answer most of your questions about that particular offering, but I'm also here to help answer questions, and Christina too, that might require more discussion.
Yeah, and I can go ahead and allow folks to talk if they wanted to ask the question verbally rather than type it in the chat.
Mm-hmm. And Katie had another question about interested in lunch and learn with companies and leaderships about how we can get them more involved. Absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
The more conversations we can have, the better we can understand the ecosystem and how to better use this funding to, build the in your area. That's my ultimate goal at heart, our ultimate goal at heart with this grant. So any conversations we can have, whether it's a lunch and learn or something else, I'm happy to be a part of it. I think my information was shared in one of the slides. I'll put my email again, and maybe it can be shared out in the follow-up too, Christina.
Yes, we'll add that.
But feel free to reach out to me directly. I just put my email in the chat. But happy to have conversations post our lunch and learn, or at any time about the initiative, or any questions you have about NCWIT in general.
All right, digital skills, email.
And I'll also send you the slides, Christina, because I think there was a request for the slides.
Yes, if the drafts, if the slideshow that I worked from is the same one, then I'll go ahead and send that out since I've got it downloaded. Let's see.
It should be, let me just check. Let's just talk offline afterwards and make sure.
Sure. Okay. Shirley said that she definitely wants to have a phone conversation. There are different patterns with women in the suburbs versus in the city. And I have a few more intros to a few more people that you should know who have a local insight. That is very true. And that's funny that you mentioned that, because I had a conversation with somebody from Ed Farm about that very thing right before I jumped onto this call. So yes, we had mentioned that there's different needs even depending on which suburb you live in here in the Birmingham metro area, and so we're trying to think through what all those needs are and try to figure out the best course offerings for these women who are coming into this program. Yes, it's a very unique place that I've lived. The suburbs here are very different from the suburbs out west, and so even within a suburb, there's so there could be some rural areas in a city. So
Mhm.
that's in the suburbs. It's a very interesting place. And I agree, Shirley is number one. We love Shirley. And this is a great list of people who are, on this webinar. These are, some of our best stakeholders in the city and some movers and shakers. So I love this. Um, I think I'm gonna allow everyone to talk so they can share their videos, so that Stephanie can see everybody.
Well, they
So
probably didn't know they were all going to be on
yeah,
camera.
you're all gonna be on camera now. Here, I'll stop recording.